today here, but I wanted to jump into this live, picking up where I left off on my live yesterday. And this is the bouquet that I put together in a live yesterday. And I kind of mentioned yesterday that this was going to open up, and you can see how it is opened up. And it's only 3 plants in here. We have peonies, we have the white peony and the pinks, and the pinks are really beautiful. Look at that, beautiful, blousy. Look at that bloom. The whites are nice, had little stripes of red in there. Not all of them will open all the way up. This one hasn't opened up yet, but just really great. 3 plants in here. Peonies kind of making a rim is what I was anticipating. If I had more peonies, I could have did a second layer of that, with the interior being eucalyptus and a little bit of baby's breath. Now, the way I would do this differently if I was going to redo this is I take a bit more of the foliage off some of these peonies. Although they stop it from looking naked, I think I would add definitely more baby's breath in here. Definitely not enough of that, just to kind of fill it in. And then I would also, to give it maybe a conical shape, I would have more plants in this interior. So I think we're going to make this over again. This we're going to live on the table. But when I do this again, I think I do another round of peonies, ringing around the outside, and then kind of work in a bit more plants in here. I like the white, I like the pinks, but I think we could add a little more color contrast in here, staying on that same side of the color wheel. Maybe a couple of darker colored dahlia would have looked really good. Still could have been blushy and pink, but this is what it looks like opened up, and this is going to sit on the dining room table, and it just is really great. Come in every day from home, walk past this on the table. It is a bit more fragrant. The peonies now are giving off a bit more of a fragrance. These pink ones have a little bit of a fragrance to them. The eucalyptus has a beautiful scent to that. So as you walk past this on the dining room table, it gives a nice little catch a whiff of beautiful flowers. So this is one that I'm really happy with, really pleased with this. I'm going to set this to the side because I want to talk about some of the other plants that I went to pick up today. So I was out and about, and there were several plants that I saw that were on sale, and this is a nice little dahlia, and it's a little dried out, and because of that I got it for 50% off. So only paid £2 for this. I'm going to set this up in a tray and get a bit of moisture into this. A lot of times when they sell these flowers in the garden center, they use this compost. I'm going to just kind of tease this out to get a good look at it, and it's just a really dry compost. You can see that it's kind of like a core, and it just doesn't retain moisture very well, right? So this is just not a great compost. It dries out really quickly, and the plant suffers as a result of it drying out really quickly. This will be planted outside, but before I plant it outside, I want to hydrate it. This is a nice little dahlia. I got it for £2 because it is dried out. You can see there's drooping. The leaves here, having a bit of problem with the leaves, they're dried out. And I'm going to get some moisture on this in just a minute. I'm going to take that off at the bottom. But this plant still has a lot of buds. Buds right there, buds here. And when I took a look at it, I said, even though it's drooping, it's not in the best condition, these flowers, because the plant didn't get watered, you can see how these flowers are just kind of really wilted and faded in. Like this one looks okay. But I said, you know what? This is a great plant to pick up. £2, it's a dahlia, it's perennial, it'll come back next year. So I get to add another flower to my collection, really cheap. All I have to do is water it. So I love to kind of spend a bit of time around the garden centers, and they'll have that section where they have the plants that are on sale, because those plants are distressed. And this plant is distressed. I don't want to imply even for a moment that it's not. It is completely dried out, but it's because it is a perennial, because dahlia have that underground tuber, it will be okay. Sit it in this nice little tray, let it soak up some water. So I water it, but there are several others. There's some other plants that I picked up today as well. So this dahlia is one of them. Another plant that I picked up, also same place. Look at this. Look at this little petunia. Also, just take it out, take a look at the roots. Dried out. Also root bound. Starting to see the roots starting to come out, peeking through here. Root bound. I want to get this. Look at that. Yeah, definitely root bound. You see, when you pull it out and you got those roots that are starting to spiral and circle around the bottom, that's root bound. But I picked this up for, well, about £1.50, right? So about $2. This is not a perennial. This is an annual. I have a lot of other petunias, but I like that color. I think it's really pretty, right? That white interior, pink exterior, but it's kind of white, faded to almost a cream interior, almost a little bit of yellow interior. So you almost could say three colors with this, bit of a tricolor bloom, but pink, really bright, really pretty. So if I put these two in the same pot, I think these would be complementary to each other. Dahlia would be more upright. The petunia is, growing in a manner where it's kind of around this, creating the foliage, but like pink and pink, I think that would look really good. Let me water this in. Picked them up. So for less than 4 pounds, I have a dahlia and I have a really pretty little petunia. Again, petunias are great, but they do need to be watered pretty regularly throughout the growing season. It wilts really quickly. Petunias will wilt. Maria, how you doing? Petunias will wilt so fast if they dry out, and this one is drying out. However, I picked up some other plants today that I just want to show you because I was feeling in the mood. I was inspired by petunias, and this one is not dried out. It has the proper amount of moisture on it. But when you're talking about petunias and you're talking about flowers that's going to give you beautiful blooms across the span of a growing season, look at that nice trumpet shaped bloom. It almost has a velvet. It's a dark purple. That's not a black. That is a dark purple. It has that yellow interior. So you have that nice contrast in color. Deep inside of that bloom is yellow. And nice petunia is just going to grow and produce beautiful flowers across the whole growing season. And I thought that this would be a great addition. I have some dark petunias already in the pot. This will add to those petunias that I have. I just think this is a great color for a petunia. And this one is black cherry. And again, to me, this is not a black. It's more of a dark purple. But I love the fact that it looks like velvet. It's really a beautiful little petunia. I would not put it in the same pot with this one. I just don't think those colors go together very well. If you want to just put all colors together, those don't go together well to me. But I'm going to water this petunia as well. So we're going to stick with some petunias and that wasn't very expensive either. I have a couple other petunias I want to show you. I was just really impressed by what the garden centers had today. Went to 2 different garden centers. One where I picked up the distressed plants, and then the other where I grabbed some of these petunias. And look at this one. This I thought was a beautiful color. It's called bright red, but it's not a bright red at all. Again, small blooms. Look at that burgundy type bloom. I just thought that it was a really beautiful bloom. Now, the reason I picked this one up is because to me, now we're getting to something that if I were to put it in a pot together, I think these colors would go together really well because they both have that velvety type appearance. So I'm going to put these in the same pot. You're going to have those growing together, crisscrossing. You have those darker, almost black blooms, and then you have this dark burgundy bloom mixed in with that. The growth habit of both plants very similar, right? Both of them are petunias, very similar, small blooms. I just think that they'll look really good. Put these both in the same pot. They're gonna go around some of the roses and they're gonna drape over the side of the pot. I think that's just a really beautiful little petunia. You could grow them from seed. I did grow some from seed this year. You can pick them up earlier in the year. They'll be quite a bit cheaper than, when you're buying them now, when they're more grown out, they cost a bit more. So gardening, especially with you're talking about ornamental plants, it's all about how much money do you want to spend, how much time do you want to spend. You can save yourself money if you're willing to invest in time. So if you buy the dahlia early in the season where it's just a bulb or just bare root, then it's going to cost you quite a bit less. If you buy the petunias when they're just little plugs, they're going to cost you quite a bit less. If you're buying them later in the year, like now, late spring, early summer, the plants are growing out a bit more. They're going to cost a bit more money, but you also get a good look and see exactly what the plant looks like. There's one more petunia, and this is the first one that I saw that really grabbed my attention today. Look at this petunia. I just thought that was such a unique coloration. I thought that was really beautiful, right? You got that purple and it's speckled. I don't even know, I can't even call that spotted. You want to call that spotted? Spotted or speckled? Maybe both. But I thought it was really, really pretty. Oh, a little bit of damage on the plant. I'm gonna take this off. Just take that off. And this is just a touch wilted. Again, the petunias, they dry out so quickly. If you don't keep these watered, they will wilt on you so fast. They're a beautiful plant, but they distress really quickly. And I thought I had the name on this one. I think it was like Starlight. I don't see it. Yeah, I don't see it now, but I'm pretty sure that the name of this was Starlight. And look at that coloration on that. I just think that is so pretty. I've never seen that particular speckled look before, but a classic petunia, trumpet shape. It's just that white with purple bloom. Really impressive. I thought that was a very impressive petunia. So a lot of petunia. Here's this one here again. That's what that looks like. Really nice. These, I picked this up just because it was so cheap. Now, they're petunias, they're annuals. I love perennials, but sometimes I just buy an annual just because I know it'll look really good in the pot. And these petunias are gonna look good draped around my roses. I have roses in pots, patio roses, but around those roses is a little bare. So I plant petunias around the edge of them and look good. This, I'm gonna put it in a bed of dahlia and it's gonna grow. It's gonna bloom for me pretty much the rest of the summer. It is a tender perennial, which means that when the temperatures drop, I'm gonna lift this, take it out of the soil, bring it in, store it in a nice cool place over the winter and put it back outside in the spring. This, if I were to leave it outside during the winter season, it'll kill that. It just can't handle the cold here. But there's one more dahlia that really jumped out at me. This is the last one. Today, for me, it was all about picking up some plants that just had a unique appearance, and I thought this was beautiful. This is Summer Bees Red, bicolored. Look at that. And I just thought this was a really sunny, bright dahlia, and it's gonna just stand out really, really beautiful. You know, again, it's not for everyone because it's a bit garish, right? It's a lot of color, and this may be a bit too much color for some people, but I love the color contrast. It's bicolored. You have this yellow interior, you have the white on the yellow interior, with the red petals, but you also even have a little extra frills on some of the petals. Some of them kind of frill up on the interior. So it's not quite a double, but it's maybe a semi-double in some cases where you have some of those petals that are a little frilly. Some of them are, yeah, you have these little frilly petals in there. They're kind of small on this one. They're not consistent. Here's one that has a lot of the frill, those interior petals just kind of frilly. That just looks great to me. Stamens is beautiful, dark yellow color. So this is the name matches, right? The name, I think it says Summer Bees. And I was just thinking, like, this is such a bright, vibrant, summery dahlia. It's also a small, tight growing plant. You can see it's not overly large, but there are a lot of buds. There's a bud here, a bud here. There's another bud right there, another bud here, and another bud right there. So this plant is going to continue to bloom past this point. A lot of times, though, you have to be careful because the garden centers, they'll get over on you. A lot of garden centers will sell you flowers when the flower is at peak bloom. Coming out of the greenhouses, is at peak bloom. You go and you get it, and you have to make sure that what you're purchasing is re-blooming, meaning it will continue to bloom again over the course of the summer. You don't want to buy a flower like this that looks really beautiful, right? It looks great. You take it home, those petals fall off, and then you just have green foliage for the rest of the year. So you want to make sure you're picking up something that has the potential to rebloom. There's another bud tucked deep under there. So this flower, I feel confident, is going to give me several more blooms over the next few weeks, and it may put out another flush of blooms. I'm looking to see, but yeah, there's even more buds lower that are even tighter. So I know that this plant has at least 2 more sets of blooms. So these are blooming right now, right? Next up, these are going to bloom. So when these drop off, by the time these drop off, about a week after, these will be opening up with blooms. But check this out. Lower down here, another set of buds. There's a bud right there, and I saw another one right here, tighter, right in there. It's not even easy to see it. Right here, in front of my finger, is another bud. So I can tell you right now, this is going to be one set of blooms. This will be a second set of blooms, and by the time these are falling off, you have another set of buds that are already developed, and those will be blooming. This is going to bloom for at least another month, maybe more, and it may be continue to rebloom across the entire summer. If that's what happens, then that's wonderful. A lot of plants don't give you consistent blooming across the entire growing season. You can have these peonies. I love peonies. One of my favorite late spring, early summer flowers, but that's it. They only bloom during a very narrow period between late spring, early summer, and that's it. You don't get any more peonies until next year. If you're growing them in your garden, you're going to get about a month and a half, 2 months max if you have multiple varieties. Some that bloom early, some that bloom mid, and some that bloom late. You can stretch it out to maybe about 2 months, but that's it. This dahlia here going to give me much more bloom time than what I'm going to get from the peonies. Peonies are beautiful and blousy, and later the rest of the year it produces nice foliage. Dahlia, I think, is a really impressive plant. And it could get a bit, especially if you get into the cactus dahlia or some of the larger dahlia, they can look a little wild. I've had them grow. Some of these plants, dahlia can get up to, about 2 meters tall, actually. They could get really large. I've seen them 2 meters tall, cactus dahlia plants. I mean, some, I'm a bit over 2 meters. You're talking about a dahlia plant about this tall, looking really bushy and wild. And so you don't necessarily want that in your garden. It depends. If you want that, put it in the back of your border, right? If you're doing a full border, but it all depends on what you're looking for. I prefer the more compact dahlia, which a lot of the breeders are now producing. Like this is this plant, tight, compact, not taking up too much space. Compact dahlia, definitely more what you want. Look at this one here, tight, smaller, more compact. Really compact plant, doesn't take up a tremendous amount of space, and that's what you want. Dahlia can get big and blousy. So these are the flowers that I picked up today. This is the bouquet that I got yesterday, put it together. I think I know how I want to do the next generation of this. I'm just getting into the florals as far as doing floral designs. I'm just starting this process, and so I'm excited about it. It's something new. I love growing flowers, right? But I haven't done as much with cut flowers. But these are some really impressive cut flowers. Peonies at this time of year, great time of year to have them. You can always go right with pinks and whites. So if you don't know what you want to do with dahlias, with peonies, pinks and whites, that'll go well together. These I'm going to set outside with the other dahlia that I have. But this is just going to be really pretty. Back patio. This is going to make me happy across the summer as this continues to bloom. Just a bright coloration. And these other petunias, really wonderful. Out of all the petunias, the one I do like the most is this one. Again, just an impressive color. Just unique. And if you don't like that because it's doing too much, some people would say that's doing too much, right? That purple and white may be doing too much for someone. I like it though. I love picking up flowers that have a different look to it. So that's pretty much all I have as far as the flowers are concerned. All I need to do now is add a bit more water. So these are in a nice heavy tray. Add some more water to this tray and then let this sit under the growing lights or sit in the windowsill for about a day. Let the plants build up a bit more energy, especially the ones that were wilted. I don't want to just stick them straight outside. It's raining outside. So I want to give them an opportunity to get past the wilted stage. Once I feel confident that the plants are growing and doing good, like this dahlia here is fine. There's no problem with that. But this other dahlia, I know that this one is distressed. So I want to keep it in a tray of water, let the plant rehydrate, get fully hydrated, and then I would take it and plant it outdoors after it hydrates. I want to hydrate it indoors first. Same thing for that petunia. This petunia here, really distressed little plant. Let me get that out of there. A distressed little plant. You can see that just like the leaves are dried up here, kind of crispy. Again, bought this on sale, 50% off. but I'm going to keep this indoors in this tray of water. And basically I'm going to just kind of, keep about that much water, an inch and a half of water. You don't want it to sit all the way up to the top of the plant, not try to waterlog it, but just enough to where it can pull some moisture up into that plant, give it a couple days indoors, and then I would transplant these outdoors. They're wonderful plants. These are not intended to grow indoors. Now, these are cut flowers, fine, that is on the table. But these are not indoor plants. You don't want to keep these down. You can leave it maybe for a few days. If you want to just keep this sitting on the counter in a windowsill, you can do that for a couple days, a week. You can leave it indoors, right? If you just want to enjoy those blooms. Then I would tell you to take it outside, transplant this, and plant this in your beds outside. It'll go great out there. It's not an indoor plant. So you can enjoy it a couple days indoors. Or there's a nice stem here. So if you wanted to follow that stem down, you could cut that. A vase. Now this vase that I have here is way too tall, but you get a smaller, shorter vase. You could take off a few of those, stick them into a vase. They will look really great if you want to leave the plant outdoors. But yeah, to fill up my water container, get some more water, add some water to those, and then that will take care of all of that. That's pretty much all I have here. Next time I jump on live, I'll probably be working a bit more with some of my indoor plants. I picked up a new ZZ plant, and I have some other plants that are doing really well. And also about another week or so, the hippeastrum, the amaryllis, the hippeastrum is going to bloom. I'll show it to you really quick. I'm still excited about it. Hold on just a second. This one is the one that I'm excited about. Just purchased this about a week ago. Got it into a pot with some soil, and you can see this flower head is developing. It should be a nice, rich orange color. That's the name of it. It's an orange. So I'm excited about this one. About another 2 weeks, right? This stalk is going to get much, much taller. I think it's going to double in size again. So it's about this tall. Last week was here. This week is here. I think it's going to go, about right there. I think it's going to double up, and then it's going to open up about 2 weeks. This one will be open. It's going to be a beautiful orange bloom, and I will show this on the live so everyone can see it. Again, I go live pretty much every Sunday. I went live yesterday, which is Saturday, to do these floral bouquets. And then tonight, I just kind of cover some of the flowers we have here indoors. This I'm going to keep indoors. After it blooms, I want to set it outside. But you cannot put a semi-hydroponic pot outside because these pots retain water. They don't have drainage on the bottom, right? So if you put this pot outside and it's raining, the water would literally just fill up the entire pot. It cannot drain out. So you definitely don't want to put a semi-hydroponic pot outside. These are indoor pots. I have some other pots in here. Most of these are all from indoor plants. So when I get ready to transplant this outside, it's coming out of this pot. I'm going to go into a nice terracotta pot or a plastic pot. I prefer terracotta. But this is going to go outside after it blooms. I want to leave it inside till it blooms, show off the bloom, then plant this amaryllis, this hippeastrum outside. It's a nice little plant. Picked it up at, I picked this up at the Chelsea flower show. Or was it the Malvern? I think it was the Malvern Spring Show. I've been into a couple RHS shows this year. Hey, check out the channel. I'm still dropping my videos and interviews that I did at Chelsea. I did an interview with the South Africa team at Chelsea. They won gold. They won, I think, the Lawrence's Award as well, which is a higher level than gold. I did an interview with the St. Vincent team at Chelsea. I did an interview with the Barbados team at Chelsea, and I did an interview with the Antigua and Barbuda team at Chelsea. And so all of those are separate interviews. Those are coming out separate. I did 2 show videos where I toured the showgrounds on the inside, and then another video where I did the tour showgrounds. I did the Grand Pavilion and the showgrounds. So there's 2 separate videos out for Chelsea. So in total, I'm gonna have about 7 different videos for Chelsea. I didn't want to put all those in one video. It just felt like it would be too much, but they're all on the channel. Go check that out. Just crossed 2,000 subscribers recently. That was a lot of fun. I really appreciate everyone kind of rocking with me on this as we kind of continue to grow and learn more about these beautiful flowers. Again, I'm an ornamentals kind of flower guy. This is what I enjoy the most. Hey, I'm going to call this one short. Appreciate everyone who jumped on the live with me. Thank you, and I will see you all later.